Okay, so part two. This is the first time I've ever done this. So just to continue this, just continues. And disciples came, she cried after us. Jumped in, the devil jumped right in there. And this is the disciples. So that's where that spirit came up of doubt. They even falsely accusing it. And he says, I am not sent unto the law. I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So that's where that his blessing came, and from there it spreads out. But he was supposed to take care of that. That's his mission, his purpose. And that is again following through the line and the lineage of who he is and royalty, and he deserves respect. Okay, so just out of a man, it's just we say a lot of things about the president, but we wouldn't say it to his face, right? Because you don't say it to a judge, in a court of the judge, and he was in his land, and they showed the respect, though he was not born in, he came from that line, and that also fulfilled the scriptures, but I didn't want to go off into all that. And again, I'm not here, I just want to give a word about this. And he answered to her and said, It is not meet to take the children's. I'm sorry, I'm a poor reader. It's amazing I do 3D computer graphics. It's not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. How many of us? How many of us, if you had to beg somebody for some money or something you need, and you said to you, and a beggar comes up to you and says, "Look, I'm gonna take my money and spend it on my children. You're just a dog. I'm not gonna give you." How many of us at that point would have surely turned around if we had asked God for something, for some help about something, and we how let's say, okay, let me put it in. There's a lot of prejudiced, racist people, right? And if somebody from another race came to you and asked you, a race you hated, how many would of us say, well, why should I give it to you? You're just a dog from across the tracks. Okay? How many of us would actually, our pride would have been more than hurt. There would have been no way that we would have stayed there. This is how much faith this woman had. So already he has told her twice. First, he just said nothing. Most of us would have just walked away. If God don't answer our prayers, then there's something wrong with God. Forget everything we ever believed about him. He is nobody because he didn't answer our prayer. This woman had faith. It is when we have those trials that our faith is tested. And sometimes, it's so often that we think we have faith, and then as soon as we get tested, as soon as life problems come up, then we find out we have no faith at all. So everything we thought we were, and I'm a super Christian, and then as soon as we don't get something our way, kaboom! Oh, well, I ain't no super Christian no more. I ain't even know God, and he's a whatever, But this woman had real faith. So she was coming across the tracks, coming on behalf of somebody else, was standing right there, he ignoring her. And so if that's a test of your faith, and you're already distraught and upset because your daughter is sick. And it's like, what do you mean he helped me? That franticness would have set in, and we would have probably went berserko, beat down a couple of people. But forgive me, I always have a sense of humor. It's my sense of humor coming out, okay? Anyway, let me just check on my time. My sense of humor will run right out of time. So then, matter of fact, the people, the people he with, his right arm men, basically start talking about her. Send her away. Now, they misunderstood what Jesus was actually doing by being quiet. He tested her faith. Testing her faith. You know, maybe. I don't know. I can't really say, because I'm assuming now. Because it just said, he said nothing. So again, we started to draw our own conclusions because we don't get an answer. You know, and we start talking to ourselves and doing all this. Okay, so, but again, despite he didn't answer her, she worshiped him. Then came, verse 25, then came she and worshiped him, saying, Lord. She didn't back off of who he was. Help me. She knew where the help came from. But he answered and said unto her, it's not meet to give the children's bread to cast it to dogs. Now we call each other, hey, what's up, my dog? Now, but let somebody else call us that. You know, when we trying to get something from them, we would have had that. And even though he had called, or basically, you know, basically what he was talking about was hierarchy. And so this woman also understood that. You know, these are his children. She's outside of the reign of his jurisdiction. She's a Canaanite. She's from a different race, you know. So she understood that there was hierarchies that she was dealing with. And so that's the way he was referring. Because obviously Jesus understood that this woman had an understanding of who he was, her situation. And so this woman had some great understanding, you know, on a lot of things. And then she said, even though he had called her a dog, what did she do? Refer to her in that lowly. Now, this is the thing. This woman had wholehearted humility. She had humility. Didn't matter. Her pride wasn't going to be insulted. She wasn't taking no for an answer. She, again, was lowly. And she said, okay, true that. All right, I'm a dog. And verse 27. And she said, truth, Lord. Yet the dogs, she saw hope in what he had said. She still didn't give up faith. Hope. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for and the substance. I always get it messed up. But you know that phrase. So she still had hope in what, she still had faith in him and what he had said. Truth, Lord. Yet the dogs, she still reasoned. She saw, and her faith didn't change. Yet the dogs eat the crumbs which fall from the master's table. She said, so she basically said, and was basically said to him, Lord, I didn't come here for the bread. I didn't come here to take food out of the mouth of the children. Just give me the crumbs, Lord. I could get by on the crumbs. Maybe she heard about the woman that said, if I could just touch the hem of your garment. If I could just touch the hem. I ain't even got to hold your hand. You ain't got to perform any miracles. Let me just touch the hem of your garment. You know, and the other ones, Paul, this is how the faith these people had when Paul and Cyrus, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with the names, being so particular about names myself. I remember references. I remember your face, you know. But basically, these people said, if the shadow, they couldn't get close to him. They said, if his shadow just touch me, I'll be healed. So this is the level of the faith that these people had. You know, this is faith. Great is Jesus. Then what did Jesus say to her? After she said, truth, Lord. Now, she still didn't. She saw hope in it, and she said, truth, Lord. But if I can, you know what? God, I can tell you some of my miracles. I won't go in. People think, well, he ain't active. You know, I'm telling you, I could live off the crumbs from the table of the Lord. And I don't, quite honestly, I have been for 5 years, and it's been good eating. So anyway, just the crumbs, good eating. Just let the rain drop, you know. just give me a dewdrop. Let me anywhere near the court. Okay, I got 36. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole that very hour. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you, my friends, my new friends. And God bless. And hopefully this is the first time. This is from my pastor, a reading that I watched from my pastor on television. I just wanted to reiterate.